Hey everyone, Luke Dog here, and welcome back to Dragon Age Origins. So where we left off, we kind of recruited the assassin sent to kill us into our group. Sort of. So I'm going to talk to Zevran for a little bit, and then I also want to talk to Wynn about her little fainting episode. So this might devolve into another round of campfire conversations. Nothing new from Carver.
Here I am.
Care to answer some questions?
Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
What does it take to become an assassin?
Well, the Crows would have you believe that it is an involved process that takes years of training, the sort that tests both your resolve and your endurance. Survive that process and maybe, just maybe, you're good enough to start being considered one of them. But quite frankly, the truth is that all it requires is a desire to kill people for a living. It's surprising how well one can do in such a field.
It doesn't take any special skill?
I don't know about that. It's simply a slightly different skill set from your average killer as I see it. An assassin simply specializes in striking from stealth, and in maximizing that first attack to be as lethal as possible. Debilitate your foe, either by poison or by crippling their limbs, makes any follow-up combat you need to engage in that much simpler.
You always use poison then?
I do. It is not something inherent in an assassin's skills, however, merely something complementary. Of course, the Crows like to pretend that their abilities are trade secrets, shrouded in shadows and wrapped in a blanket of mystery. So let's just keep this between you and me, shall we? Here I am.
Can you teach others to be an assassin?
Oh, I certainly could, but I won't. I swore to the Crows that the things they taught me were to remain a secret. And while, yes, they are already angry at me, I'd rather not push things, you see.
I'll respect your word.
If you are truly insistent, well, let me think about it. The Crows are already angry at me, yes? Who knows? Here I am. Oh, this should be good. Go ahead.
Why did you want to leave the Crows exactly?
Well now, I imagine that's a very fair question. Being an assassin, after all, is a living, at least as far as such things go. I was simply never given the opportunity to choose another way. So, if that choice presents itself, why should I not seize upon it?
So you're simply bored?
I don't know that I would put it precisely that way. I was but a boy of 7 when I was purchased. For 3 sovereigns, I'm told. Which is a good price, considering I was all ribs and bone and didn't know the pommel of a dagger from the pointy end. The Crows buy all their assassins that way. Buy them young, raise them to know nothing else but murder. And if you do poorly in your training, you die.
That sounds awful.
Oh, I don't know about that. The Crows who are actually good enough to survive come to enjoy some of the benefits. In Antiva, being a Crow gets you respect. It gets you wealth. Gets you women. And men. Or whatever it is you might fancy. But that does not mean doing what is expected of you always. And it means being expendable. It's a cage, if a gilded cage. Pretty, but confining.
So what is it you fancy exactly?
I fancy many things. I fancy things that are beautiful, and things that are strong. I fancy things that are dangerous and exciting. Would you be offended if I said I fancied you?
But I'm a man.
Oh, you're speaking seriously, aren't you? I do forget that this is not Antiva City. We are a little more open-minded about such things where I hail from. Is this something that I should beg pardon for?
No, I just was surprised.
Pleasantly, I hope. As for what I'll do in the future, presuming that there is one, I truly can't imagine. It might be interesting to go into business for myself, for a change. Far away from Antiva, of course. For now, naturally, I go where you go.
Won't the crows eventually find you?
Eventually can be a very, very long time if one plays one's cards right. Come now, enough chit-chat. Talking about the crows summons them, you know. Any Antivan fishwife could tell you so. All right, but I get to stare at you luridly while you do so.
Tell me about Antiva.
Oh, you wish to know about Antiva, do you? The only way to truly appreciate it would be to go there. It is a warm place, not cold and harsh like this for Aedan. In Antiva it rains often, but the flowers are always in bloom. Or so the saying goes.
Don't you want to go back?
It's not really a matter of wanting to go back. I cannot go. At least not yet. I hail from the glorious Antiva city, home to the royal palace. It is a glittering gem amidst the sand, my Antiva city. Do you come from someplace comparable?
I was born in Highever in the north.
Oh, I have never seen that place. I am sure it has its charms, and its dogs. You know what is most odd? We speak of my homeland, and for all its wine and its dark-haired beauties and the lilo flutes of the minstrels, I miss the leather the most.
Now that is odd.
I mean the smell. For years, I lived in a tiny apartment near Antiva City's leather-making district, in a building where the crows stored their youngest recruits, packed in like crates. I grew accustomed to the stench, even though the humans complained of it constantly. To this day, the smell of fresh leather is what reminds me most of home more than anything else.
You sound like you've been away from home forever.
Oh, not so long, I know. It is my first time away from Antiva, however, and the thought of never returning makes me think of it constantly. Before I left, I was tempted to spend what little coin I possessed on leather boots I spotted in a store window. Finest Antivan leather. Perfect craftsmanship. But I was a fool to leave them. I thought, Zevran, you can buy them when you return as a reward for a job well done. More the fool I, no?
The job being killing me, right?
Yes, and now here I am. One simply never knows what is to come next. How could I have suspected I would end up defeated by a handsome Grey Warden? A man who then spares my life? I could not.
Everyone makes mistakes. You need to make the most of where you are.
Quite right you are. I see the Grey Wardens do not recruit fools. Now, if it is all the same to you, I would prefer not to speak more of Antiva. It makes me wistful and hungry for a proper meal.
Alistair, get to cooking. I want to discuss something personal.
Oh, this should be good. What would you like to discuss? I see. I am tempted to ask why, but I suspect I already know the answer. I swore to remain at your side, so here I shall remain. Yet you would have us be strangers. So be it.
No, it's not that. I just don't want you to think I... Here, have a gold bar.
I shall treasure it. Thank you.
Do you like malachite?
You have excellent taste.
Eh. Okay, Win.
What's on your mind?
I think I might have accidentally started flirting with Zevran. What do I do? Have you changed your mind about Liliana and me?
I have watched you for a time, and perhaps I was wrong. There seems to be something special between the two of you. I think she feels she's truly found her place with you. That after all her wanderings, she's finally home.
I feel the same way.
I think I was too harsh in my judgment before, and I am sorry.
You wanted the best for both of us.
What you have may not last forever. Death and duty may part you, but love's worthiness is not diminished because of that. I should have seen this before. Instead, you learn to cherish every precious moment that you spend together, knowing that it may be the last. And for those of us watching, well, it brings warmth to these old bones to know that something so beautiful can be found in the midst of chaos and strife.
Let's level you up, Zevran. You got nothing. Shale, you got 3. Alistair. Overpower. Shield a wall. We'll give you overpower. Carver. You have nothing, so I haven't used you.
What's on your mind?
Can I not
I
talk
will
to you
answer
yet?
to the best of my ability. What's on your mind? It is no trouble.
The Circle of Magi stands ready to assist, Grey Warden, as do the Templars of the Chantry.
Do you need anything?
There are always areas to improve on, Grey Warden. The most useful for my talents are runes.
I'll leave you for now. Bodan!
If there's anything I can do for you, please, please tell me.
I want to see your wares.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
Discounts are always fun. Could get that to Morrigan. Shale, what do you got? Don't need second one. Here, Morgan. New staff.
If there's anything I can do for you, please, please tell me.
Take my dog's old stuff.
I'm sure you'll be pleased with the goods my boy and I have collected, and with your discount.
You like your new paint? I guess so. Alright then. Bring the new guy.
Yes.
Take a win. And I'll take Alistair.
Yes.
I'm gonna head back to Denerim quickly to check some stuff. Check to see if we can hand in any of those side quests. Let's go. You have no experience. Stop telling me you can level up.
So, are you a very religious man, Alistair? I'm curious. I believe I heard you say you were raised in an abbey.
I was raised in a castle. I was schooled in the abbey. As far as being religious, I don't know. Not especially. What about you? Not in your line of work, I expect.
Why do you say that? I happen to be quite devoted in my way, as most Antivans are.
Truly? But you kill people. For money.
And I ask forgiveness for my sins from the Maker every chance I get. What manner of monster do you think I am?
But you ask forgiveness and then you go right on with your sinning.
The Maker has never objected. Why should you?
I have no idea.
Well, there you go. Perhaps you ought to think about asking for a little forgiveness yourself, huh?
Okay.
As there is but one word.
Can I hand anything into you?
Good to see you again.
You got nothing new. Non-noble. Is this where the regulars are? Or was that the Pearl? Oh yeah, I also gotta go to a back room. Yep, there you are.
Your efforts are greatly appreciated.
Anything new? Nope. Find the deserters.
Yeah, I'm finding one in Frostback.
Yeah. What do we got here? Find Rexel. Find the Sextant. Need to find more scales. Non-noble tavern.
Do you think the town will get back to what it was, Wynne?
I don't know. A great number of people died. It will be difficult to imagine rebuilding, with that cloud hanging over everything for many years to come.
Do you think you'll be there? To help rebuild, I mean, once this is all over with.
I cannot say. Even if I survive this blight, I am a very old woman, Alistair.
Why? Because of some grey hair? You are a formidable woman, Wynne. You could see that it happens.
I think you overestimate the number of years I have left. But perhaps you are right. Or perhaps the memories of what happened there will be too strong for me to face.
I have a hard time believing that.
Well, it's good to have someone that believes in me, so... Now, if I could only feel the same way myself, that would be something.
Oh hey, it's you.
You hear about a note? Maybe we have some things we can talk about.
Just see the conversation stays civil. If this is a trap,
Zevran, is it? You are Talisan's responsibility. Other crows may try to kill you, but in my eyes, you're already dead. So, you are of no notice. But the Warden here, he is of great interest to me.
But you were hired to kill me.
I can't stress enough that I wasn't hired to do anything. An associate was, and he's failed. And failed badly.
I'd like to see you do any better.
Do you take me for a fool? That's a contract I'd never take. A client can always hire more help if the job isn't done the first time. But I am hoping we can make sure that doesn't happen.
I don't think I've ever brought Zevran here to meet this guy. Is this true?
I've only heard of the one time the entire House of Crows was hired for a job. A princely sum changed hands, and an entire noble family died. Not one soul survived. Ignacio has the right of it. Generally, it is one master, one job.
I'm listening.
Ferelden is a busy place. Blight, civil war, other mayhem. Lots of people not getting along. Sometimes they really don't get along. Maybe want to do something about it. The people that handle that sort of thing can get real busy.
So you're hiring help.
You could say that. Not many people we can turn to. So, someone that's crossed our path and lived, well, maybe they could help out. Make some coin. Everyone wins.
How does this work then?
I hand you a scroll. You read it, you learn about someone interesting. If you find out something happens to him, something unfortunate, then if we talk again, I give you money for letting me know.
I don't like the sound of this.
You don't like what's on the scroll? Don't do anything. Maybe he has an accident and someone else tells me all about it.
We both know what this is about.
You can never be too careful. Can you blame someone for being circumspect?
I want no more crows after me.
That I cannot do. One master has a contract on you. But if you help us out, maybe if that master asks for help, he'll just get silence. Yes?
And it.
There you go. Makes for fine reading.
You're a cautious little weasel, Ignacio. What's your angle? If you're playing us false...
My dance is not for you. I need to be real honest sometimes. And I can say I haven't asked anyone to do anything. I've just given someone something interesting to read.
And you think that will save your hide when they nail it to a wall?
You are already dead in my eyes, whoreson. Take care that I don't learn otherwise. If that's all, luck be to you.
Assassinate a target for Master Ignacio. You've been with Master Ignacio. He gave you a scroll detailing a target that he wants you to assassinate. The scroll directs you against a man named Aedan, currently holed up in the Pearl Brothel in Denerim. He's working some kind of scam in the back room, and you should look for one of his Grey Warden posters around the marketplace to gain access. Aedan works for Logain and will no doubt have backup. Okay then. Let's go look for a poster. Alistair's most powerful foe was a revenant. Don't believe the lies, friends of the Grey Wardens assemble. The hidden pearl holds the key to resistance. The griffins will rise again.
Dwarven
Think
crafts.
again.
Find dwarven crafts.
Impossible.
Direct from Orzammar. You won't find better.
No, I cannot.
Phooey. That's not a door. Anything else, guys?
So, you know that I'm a Templar, right?
I believe what I heard was that you were not, in fact, a Templar. You were trained as one before you became a Grey Warden.
That's right, but I still have all the abilities of one, of course. That doesn't make you nervous.
Should it? I am no apostate. Perhaps you should be directing this question at Morrigan.
She claims not to be afraid of me, or anything, really. But you've had more experience with the Templars than her. I know how mages can sometimes...
The Templars serve a function, and a necessary one. If what has happened at the tower proves anything, it is that we mages can be dangerous, even to ourselves.
That's one way of looking at it.
And regardless, you seem like a decent enough young man. If you decide to slaughter me out of hand, I'm sure you would at least inform me first, no?
Oh, sure. Count on it.
Okay.
Win, I'm going to kill you.
Win, you will now die. Thanks for letting me know. To the Pearl.
The Black Pearl.
Here's me.
Impossible.
The Griffins will rise again.
Another Grey Warden supporter.
Not just a supporter, Payton. That's a Grey Warden. He's the one Arl Howe is looking for.
Our trap landed a Warden? You've got one chance to surrender.
Loghain framed the Wardens.
For what it's worth, I believe you. Not that I particularly care. We're not common guards, Warden. We're Howe's elite. Shavra, Tenant, and Jarvie, let's kill ourselves a Warden.
Enemies approaching. Very well.
Okay then.
As you say. Best be wary.
You were saying? Not as good as what you have. Anything else in here? Nope. Okay. I've been in here already. Okay, back to the market. Do 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 do. There we go.
You know, Win, I have a friend back in Antiva who would be very excited to meet you.
I'm sorry?
Salvail prefers women with experience and maturity. He says they have more substance, are more robust and flavorful.
Does he now?
Indeed. No need to deny it. Zevran knows a fine bird when he sees one.
I am not a bird.
There is no reason to deny yourself the pleasure of male companionship, after all, yes? You might balk now, but I assure you, Salvail is a gentleman of means and quite handsome.
I am going to walk away now, calmly, coolly. This is to save you the pain of having your brain forcibly removed through your ears.
This must be a Ferelden thing, I swear.
No it's not.
Dwarven crafts. Fine.
No, I don't want any crafts, Steve Bloom.
Stevie.
Ignacio.
Oh. Worries about your circle of the Magi, my dear Wynne.
Is that so?
There is a circle in my country, of course, but perhaps things are different here. I visited the Antivan Circle on official Crow business once. Met a beautiful young apprentice who was very eager for a taste of the outside world.
Please, please get to the point.
All I wonder is whether the Templars guard the mages here as closely as they do in Antiva. In Antiva, the Templars watch the circle like a jealous husband guarding the chastity of a wanton bride.
Interesting metaphor, but yes, it is not too different in Ferelden.
And is it also true that when the moon swells to fullness, the mages of the circle gather at the top floor of their tower and, naked under the stars, make love to each other?
What? No! Maker's breath.
Oh, I found out recently that it was not true in Antiva, and hoped that it would be in Ferelden. Alas.
He's a weird guy.
A little bird told me one of Logan's friends had an accident. Terribly unfortunate. You might want to look in the chest behind me. There might be something of interest.
Contracts. One scroll indicates that you should go to the forest south of Denerim to look for a group of Kunori mercenaries called the Word of Caden Fey. You have a contract to kill Ambassador Gainley, who is residing in the royal palace of Orzammar. When you take him out, a servant in the employ of the Crows will clean up the mess and make it look like he left Orzammar. Okay, I guess. Well, we're leaving Denerim no matter what. Question is, where should we go to next? Kind of thinking Orzammar, since a lot of places are leading us there.
Dwarven crafts. Fine dwarven crafts. Direct from Orzammar.
Don't care. One last conversation.
So, tell me, you have any children, grandchildren, I don't know, great-grandchildren?
What would make you think I have any children at all? You have to know I've spent most of my life in the circle of Magi.
You just seem like the grandmotherly type to me, I don't know.
I suppose I'll take that as a comment on my demeanor and not my age.
Mages aren't forbidden to marry or anything, are they? It's not such an outlandish question.
Isn't it? What sort of man would marry a mage, do you think?
Well, how about another mage? There are just as many men as there are women within the circle, as I recall.
That sort of union is not encouraged. Although that does not stop us from seeking out each other's company from time to time.
Alright. Suddenly you don't seem quite so grandmotherly to me anymore.
Good. I would hope not.
I like you, Wynne. Although, now that conversation has made me start. Let's move on. Might as well get this out of the way. As soon as we stepped out of the gate. What's going on here?
Ah, a fellow traveler of the fair lands. Are you a seeker, perchance? My packs are light, but I have a tome of strange origin. The Deus V Eternus, rumored to be the last message to a sinful world from the Maker himself.
Not so strange. I have 5 copies.
Ah, will the wonders of this all too small a land never cease? Well, they will for you. Get them!
Enemies approaching!
Stab, stab, stab.
It is begun.
Ooh, ow, 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 ow.
It is begun.
Time to dance.
I shall do it. As you say. Very well. It shall be done. It is begun.
Jeez.
You think they would run away more?
Obviously, this mage knew how to use Tempest. +2 cunning, +1 health regeneration.
What's on your mind? I will answer to the best of my ability.
I wanted to talk about why you fainted. Moving on.
More enemies ahead.
Stab.
Very well. I shall do it, as you said. Very well. It is begun. I shall do it, as you say. Very well.
I still remember my first battle. Take that!
Good job. Anything else? I could wear that. Better, but I like the look of the other one.
As you say.
I could go and turn this in, but I'm going to continue to Orzammar. I take the long way around. Frostback Mountains. Stop saying he can level up, he can't. I'm actually going to change my party.
Lost it.
I'm going to take... Liliana. Shale. Let's do Morgan.
Indeed.
Maybe you level up. Nope, but you're all level 10. Ooh, Morgan, can I give you new stuff?
That's really young, but
I know, but I just want to check this bow. No. Move to junk. No. Nah, we'll keep with the enchanters. Dun 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 dun.
More enemies ahead.
About time a warden show.
Oh, hello.
Shall we go? We must fight. Let us do it quickly.
Holy smokes.
Now you fall.
It's times like this you realize just how often wind heals you.
Look at all these people hawking their wares. It's almost like a little city.
Yeah, kinda.
May the ancestors protect us all.
You have some kind of problem?
Yeah, aren't you supposed to be in Skyrim?
Oh? What was this about?
I hear you stole supplies from the guild.
How sad it is to see a Grey Warden manipulated. But I have no time to straighten this out for you. Men, let's teach the Grey Warden a lesson about trust.
We might want to walk back.
I will not fail.
Oh, Shale, you just sent that guy flying. Sort of.
For the fool thing!
You will learn to fear.
Away with you!
Plus 10 cold resistance. Liliana, let's give you a ring. Not that kind of ring. Eh.
Step right up, friend, and have a look at the finest selection of almost new armor and weaponry east of Orlais.
Are you Farron by any chance?
Oh, you've heard of me. What have you heard? And just so you know, some of my competitors have been trying to besmirch my sterling reputation.
Did you happen to find a Canary sword?
Canary? I'm afraid I don't know the word.
It would have been pretty large and unwieldy.
Ooh, those. I had one, but I sold it already.
Who'd you sell it to?
A collector. I can't go telling you all about my paying customers. One, it's not ethical, and two, it's bad for business. A lot of my customers are sensitive types. They don't want their personal business related to every stranger who happens along.
Tell me or let the original owner know where you are.
If I'd known he was still breathing, I would have used a knife. I mean, I'd have been more careful.
Where's the sword?
Redcliffe. The guy who bought it lives in Redcliffe. He's a collector. A dwarf named Dwin, I think. I don't want any trouble. If you see that giant, tell him I don't have it, would you? I don't, I swear.
Don't worry.
Andraste bless you, friend.
Stan, we're going to Redcliffe, eventually.
The Maker, my brother and his family made it out of Lothering. He said that the Darkspawn attacked it the very next day.
The Darkspawn took Lothering, did they?
I don't know. I expect so, since there was no one there to stop them.
Well, it won't be much longer until those monsters get here. There doesn't seem to be anyone fighting them now.
Well, it's a good thing we left when we did, then.
They need a king to decide who buys clothes? This is ridiculous.
I understand. What can I do for you?
I have a note for you.
This ought to be interesting. Such diction. This man is a true scholar and rhetorician. I am honored to be fired by one such as he. Good day.
Apparently I missed one in Denerim. Or maybe after... Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, you wish to talk to me? Truly, it's a courtesy for one so well-armed to notice a lowly merchant.
You live on the surface?
Someone has to. Trade with other races can dry up. We surfacers are Orzamar's lifeline, even if we're denied a caste. The Assembly says we've turned our back on the stone, but they still use the goods we bring. Hypocrites.
That's not right. Someone should do something.
Maybe it'll change by the time my children are grown.
How often do you restock in Orzammar?
Twice a year. I'm confined to a trade stall in the Commons, but I see enough. It's very closed in. My grandfather says I've lost my stone sense. I was born topside. I don't remember having it.
I should go.
Best of luck to you.
Nice talking to you.
The Assembly is deadlocked. No one knows when they'll reopen the city.
I demand an audience. You will solve Ferelden. King Loghain will not suffer the delay of his appointed messenger.
Vieta, this land is held in trust for the sovereign Dwarven kings. I cannot allow entry at this time.
King Loghain demands the allegiance of the Desher, or lords, or whatever you call them in your assembly. I am his appointed messenger.
I don't care if you're the king's wiper. Orzammar will have none but its own until our throne is settled.
Why have your people retreated like this?
They hide because they are dwarves.
I would challenge any race to fare as well. Our king is dead. Endrunai Dukan returned to the stone not 3 weeks ago. The Assembly has gone through a dozen votes without agreeing on a successor. If it is not settled soon, we risk a civil war.
A blight is coming. They must unite for Ferelden.
Wait, who are you to speak for Ferelden? You're no messenger to Loghain, that's for certain.
Thank the ancestors.
Grey Wardens need their traditional dwarven allies.
The Wardens killed King Cailan and nearly doomed Ferelden. They're sworn enemies of King Loghain.
Well, that is the Royal Seal. That means only the Assembly is authorized to address it. Grey Warden, you may pass.
You're letting in a traitor? And a foreigner? In the name of King Loghain, I demand that you execute this stain on the honor of Ferelden.
Loghain's not a king. He's a regent. Loghain's the traitor who killed King Kalinak Ostagar.
What? Lies and slander! King Loghain will not suffer this. I will not suffer it. I'm his messenger.
Kill each other as you will, but take your sodding fight off my doorstep.
He's not a king. He's a regent.
Don't look now, but more enemies are ahead.
Denial of the traditions of our people does not qualify as a political technicality. Endrin of House Aeducan traces his ancestry back to the Paragon Aeducan, the greatest warrior of Orzamar's history, who beat back the Darkspawn hordes in the First Blight. The second son of King Ansgar Aeducan, he became heir after his elder brother died in approving. The most respected king in 4 generations, he restored contact with Kalsharak, the only other remaining city of the once vast Dwarven Empire, which had been lost during the First Blight. There's a difference between a king and a regent.
Shall be done. It is begun.
Hold on, Liliana. Boom. Hey, we survived. Ooh, sapphire. Pretty.
You've done me a service. That fool Imrek was barking for a week. Are all humans so touched? You are free to enter Orzammar, Grey Warden. Though I don't know what help you will find.
Thank you. Speak to the Lords of the Assembly. The leadership of Orzammar is in chaos. Addressing the Assembly seems like the likely place to start looking for a solution. The Chamber of the Assembly is in the Diamond Quarter. The gates of Orzammar are open to you, but King Endrin has died, and the Deshers, the Dwarven Lords, have been unable to choose a successor. To gain their aid, the deadlock in the Assembly must end. I also like the music in Orzammar.
A trust follow, Warden.
Imagine if all of those were golems.
We prefer that outsiders not witness our infighting, but your presence will be tolerated.
Now that's a thing of beauty, daughter. If you work hard like Branka, all Orzammar will know your name.
Mother, I don't want to be like her.
Don't say that. Not to me, not to anyone. Now get back to the forge. I want to see more details.
Yes, Mother.
As I studied among the dwarves, I became aware of their social system was as rigid as the stone that surrounds them. From the lowest servant to the king of Orzammar, each dwarf has a caste, a rigid social standing, which dictates that he may do what he may do and how he may do it. What fascinated me then was that the dwarves, stubborn and proud as they may be, have built in a way for even the lowliest dwarf to bypass the caste system and reach prominence. Any dwarf who has made an achievement of significance can be named Paragon, elevating that dwarf above all others. To become a Paragon is to be recognized as, essentially, a living ancestor. Your words are considered ineffable, and the dwarves liken you unto a god. Your family, those you choose to ascend with you, become the founders of a new line of nobility. Indeed, every existing noble house among the dwarves traces its line back to a founding Paragon. It is a rare thing, however. In my visit, I learned that only one Paragon has been elected in generations, the smith Branka, exalted for her discovery of smokeless coal. I met the Paragon Bronca only once during my stay, and I consider it an odd occasion indeed. Surrounded by those of her house, this ill-tempered woman was draped in the finest clothing and jewelry, and was obviously revered even above the highest nobles, perhaps above even the king. Yet she seemed to enjoy none of it. The burden of being a living legend is great, it appears. Statues of the Paragons are found throughout Orzammar, though nowhere so prominently than in the Hall of Heroes through which one passes on entering from the surface. It is a breathtaking sight to behold, great works of stone all seemingly to hold up the ceiling above. It is meant to impress upon visitors to Orzammar of all who have gone before, I think. It's also meant to remind dwarves going to the surface, and thus abandoning their brethren forever, of all they are leaving behind. From Stone Halls of the Dwarves by Brother Genetivi. An explanation of the Paragons.
I haven't eaten in days. Bread? Please, sir. Just a bit of bread.
Sorry, I don't have any bread with me. Beaumont. Garl. Turna. Hrilden.
The Swamp Witch has a great deal in common with my former master.
The Swamp Witch? How original.
The Swamp Witch has the same arrogance, the same air of cruelty. I would hate for it to have possession of my control rod. If it still worked, of course.
Let me tell you what you can do with your control rod, Gollum.
Is it telling me that if the rod did work, that it wouldn't want control over me?
I wouldn't go so far as that. I could, for instance, command you to go and jump in a lake. A very deep lake.
It fools no one. The Swamp Witch would control everything if it could. It would have us all dancing on its strings.
Oh, you know me too well, Gollum. Your revealing gaze has laid me bare.
I will be watching the Swamp Witch. It must not be trusted.
Now you're beginning to sound just like Alistair.
Oh yeah, we also got to stop at Flemeth's at some point.
Yeah, we got Boom!
Speaking of which... Okay, Liliana. I'll give you 1 point of that. Some willpower. What should we give you? Combat movement, strike, stealth, distraction. What do we need here? Combat, expert combat training. Give you combat movement. I don't know which one it is. This is the only downside of this codex menu. It's like, as soon as you scroll over it, it registers as red. So I have no idea which entry that was.
Well, you got it from the list of commands? Like what you investigated before you leveled up? I'm gonna guess it was like dwarf or something.
It is the Assembly who makes a king, and a king who nominates his successor. None of it is carried in the blood.
Or, as now, when someone tries using the Assembly to pull a coup. Who's to say what my father said in his final hours, when the usurper Harrowmont was the only one by his side?
I'll have you thrown in prison.
You've bitten off more than you can chew!
Handlers, separate these dashers in the Diamond Quarter. I will not have Balin incite a riot.
You not speak that way about the man who should be king!
I don't think this music was supposed to be playing. No one is born with the rights to the throne. The sitting king may recommend a successor, but the assembly ultimately decides who will rule. House Harrowmont is one of the oldest noble houses, as old as Orzammar itself. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Harrowmont is well known for being an able administrator, and the author of many compromises in the ever-warring assembly. Balin Aedan. This is a time for action, not cultured debate. Third of King Endrin's children, Balin has always been considered the last and least of his family. Not the heir, nor the favorite, and not as accomplished as either sibling. Balin's most notable trait was his ability to stay out of trouble. I believe he is your brother if you choose to play as a dwarf noble.
In the Commons, especially in front of outsiders. I find that soddy fool, I'll have him.
Diamond Quarter, right. Proving ground straight ahead.
Vieta, surfacer. I'm bid to let you walk the Commons, but keep your place. Warden or not, I want order.
Can a city function like this?
See, that's why I don't want you surfacers seeing our worst. You'll think that's all we are. The market is thin, but busy, and the tavern never closes. Bad blood is usually kept to the proving. Should toss Balin and Harrowmont in there, sort this all out in a hurry.
The proving?
Personal battles for honor and ancestor. I don't expect a surfacer to understand. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
Sounds like Balin and Harrowmont are the ones to talk to.
They've caged themselves for fear of each other. As you've seen, keeping order down among us working people is dodgy. No place for a proper lord. Balin speaks through his second, Vartag Gavorn, in the Assembly. Lord Harrowmont speaks through Dulin Ferender from his estate.
You mentioned paragons.
Surfacers appoint no paragons? Truly, you're lost in all that sky. They are the best of us, declared living ancestors. If you must be our warden, at least know us. Go to the Shaper of Memories in the Shaperate, the true bright spot in the Diamond Quarter.
Okay, I need Orzammar's assistance for the Blight.
Surface problems. Well, we have no king to hear you. You can join the shouting at the Assembly in the Diamond Quarter if you want. Bunch of Desher lords bickering over sand. Balin, Harrowmont. Is one so different? No paragons here.
I should go.
Yes, you should.
Yes, you should. Lord Harrowmont is one of the two men who could take the throne. To earn an audience with Harrowmont, you must speak to Dulin Ferender. You can find Dulin either in Harrowmont's estate in the Diamond Quarter or in Tapster's Tavern. Prince Balin is one of the two men who can take the throne. To earn an audience with Balin, you must speak to Vartag Gavorn, his second in command. Vartag may be found in the Assembly Chamber, which is in the Diamond Quarter. The Dwarves are lauded for their craftsmanship, and the city of Orzammar is one of their finest works. Orzammar lies at the heart of the Frostback Mountains, deep underground. The city arcs outward from the royal palace, which is built around a natural lava vent, continually fountaining liquid rock, which both lights and heats the entire cavern. The topmost tier of Orzammar is home to the noble caste, with their palaces fanning out in both directions from the court of the king, as well as the Shaperate, which serves as a repository for all dwarven knowledge. The lower tiers is the Commons, where the merchant caste holds sway and where the finest works of Orzammar's craftsmen are for sale. In the center of the River of Lava, connected to the Commons by a causeway, are the Proving Grounds, a sacred arena where the dwarves, by ancient tradition, settle their disputes. On one side of the fiery river are the ruins of old dwarven palaces, fallen into disrepair, which the locals call Dust Town, now home to the city's castless. On the other side of the river are the Deep Roads, which once joined the sprawling dwarven empire together, but now, after centuries of darkspawn incursions, are largely sealed off. Nearly all knowledge of this network of underground passages has been lost, even to its builders. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Jenny TV. Oh, thought someone was going to talk.
Did you see that? I cannot believe what this city has come to. This would never have happened when Endrin was alive.
People are at each other's throats.
The city is torn apart. King Endrin is dead, and the Assembly can't decide who takes the throne, Lord Harrowmont or that monster Balin.
What do you know about this Lord Harrowmont?
Lord Harrowmont should be our king. He was King Endrin's closest advisor, the only one he could trust. Endrin himself, ancestors welcome him, asked the Assembly to endorse Harrowmont.
But isn't Balin King Endrin's son?
Aye. What a terrible burden for a father to have only Balin left of 3 fine sons. In the end, Endrin himself recognized that Balin cared for nothing but power. It was Endrin who ordered his son away from his deathbed and embraced Lord Harrowmont as his heir.
Why such hate for Balin?
Everybody knows he killed his brother Trian and let his father's favorite son take the blame. And many question whether Endrin died abed, as we were told, or whether Balin helped him along.
Is Harrowmont qualified to rule?
He is a good man and a skilled general. King Endrin trusted him with his life, and I will do no less.
How did Endrin die?
Only as a potential match for one of his sons. He was a good king, stern and fair and just.
I meant to click this one.
He died in bed after his eldest son was murdered, and the Assembly condemned his second son for it. I cannot blame him for preferring to join the ancestors in eternal peace, if Balin didn't murder him himself.
Who are you?
I am Narav Helmi, 3rd daughter of the 2nd matron of House Helmi. And you, stranger, what brings you to Orzammar at such a time?
I'm Aedan, a Grey Warden. I'm here seeking aid.
A Grey Warden? That explains why they allowed you past the gates. What kind of aid do you mean?
I have a treaty compelling Orzammar to aid against a blight.
A blight? Now? But our warriors are killing each other in the streets. I'm sorry, stranger. I fear there will be no aid for you in Orzammar. If you seek Lord Harrowmont's support, I suggest you talk with his trusted advisor, Dulin Ferrender. He might be able to get you an audience.
Okay.
Why does the Swamp Witch still travel with the Grey Wardens?
You are of the opinion that I should not be?
I am curious. It seems as if it has little reason to stay.
The same could be said of you. There is no control rod commanding your presence, Gollum.
I have no history and thus no purpose. The same cannot be said for the Swamp Witch. Its purpose is simply unknown.
Keep asking questions and I shall turn into a bird. I can do that.
I have no fear of birds.
Oh, I didn't say you were afraid. I would simply hover out of reach. Hovering, waiting until...
Enough! I shall be silent.
Excellent choice.
Very well.
While your concerns have merit, the Assembly has made itself clear. Space within the Tig is at a premium, but the intent and function of the Hall merits the additional resources committed. The statues of the Paragons must be the core of the Hall of Heroes. There's no other placement that so benefits Dwarven interests. It's the first glimpse that surface ambassadors have of Orzammar, an introduction not just to our living ancestors, but also to the stone from which we were born. They must see it shaped before they can understand the complexity of its raw form. The hall must also serve a second purpose, as a large site for departing brethren. Those who choose to leave must do so with the heavy gaze of their ancestors at their backs. It's a reminder of duty and of consequence. We will promote all manner of trade, but also reinforce that those who leave for too long will return as strangers to the stone. From a report of the Assembly Zoning Commission. Pursuant to Order 5-1A, no dwarf of indeterminate caste may conduct business in the Commons. This was subsequently clarified by the Assembly to mean that the owning and operating of stalls or kiosks is limited to those of identified and approved house names with traceable ancestor lineage of at least 3 generations. Exceptions include individual purchases of goods or services from established stalls or kiosks, providing the funds are presented at the opening of the transaction at the discretion of the stall or kiosk owner. I'm sure you understand the need to maintain strict quality control over all goods and services that flow through Orzammar, especially when we are making a concerted effort to encourage outside investment. The standards of Dust Town and that of the common brand are simply not sufficient. Your trade permit is hereby denied. From a judgment of the Assembly Trade Council regarding Midal's reclaimed wares.
Good day to you.
Hello. Proving. Well, I'll be going for about an hour, so I'm guessing this is probably a good place to stop for now. So, let's save. Next time, we'll start to explore Orzammar. Figure out how to get a king on the throne. Till then, if you like this video, let me know in the comments. If you really liked it, press that cute little like button. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm Luke Dog, and I'll see you next time.